What is your name?
My name is Sylvester Wooten.
Where were you born?
I was born in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Okay. And can you tell us about what year or the month for your birthday?
June the 30th.
June the 30th. Can you tell us a little bit more about your parents when you were growing up?
Yeah, my father's name was Roosevelt Wooten.
Okay.
My mother's name was Maud Wooten.
Can you tell us about something that happened in your childhood that really sticks out, something that you remember from your childhood?
Well, in my childhood, I was working on a farm all the way, and with 12 sisters and brothers. Oh, we was a farmer.
Were there any special duties or chores that you had? Like milking the cows or getting the eggs?
Well, I was grew up on plowing a mule,
Okay.
cotton, corn, sweet potatoes, peanuts, ribbon cane, hogs, cows.
What were some of your experiences in school, like elementary school?
School,
Mm-hmm.
well, my school experience was fine, but I never was a good tenant in school because we didn't have a chance. And going back in those 8 days that we had to work, and the girls could go to school, but the 5 boys had to work. Between time we went to school, which was good. As soon as we get out of school, we go home, we go to the cotton field. My dad would make the molasses, make up everybody molasses. Everybody had their certain places that they would drop their pile. So we had the molasses mill down the hill from the house, and had mules going around grinding up the cane, and my dad was making the molasses. So you had 2 or 3 loads sitting pile here. We made yours first. He the second, and about 5 or 6 people had their piles ready to be made. So we made molasses. And sweet potatoes, we would take them in the town on Saturday morning. We put the little stuff in the wagon, go on downtown, go around peeling, knock on people's doors. Sweet potatoes or peanuts or whatever, they come out. We want some of this, how much it is, 25 cents. Everything was cheap. Little candy, peanuts, sweet potatoes, cucumbers, 3 for maybe a quarter throughout the life. I always was a farmer. I loved the farm. And I remember when I went in the Army, World War II, then I was working for a doctor before I went in the Army. His name was Dr. Harrison, the first doctor built a hospital in Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's going back in there around 1946. And then after then, outside after I went in service, I went in training in Camp Shelby, Mississippi. From there to Camp Lee, Virginia. Took my training. Went to Alabama. And from there, they told us they were going to give us the rest of our training overseas. So I was sent to France. And that's right after World War, the bomb Pearl Harbor over there. So I went into Le Havre, France, and I went in was picked as a cook, preparing food for the 150 soldiers. So we went in Germany, France, and we would get off and clean up with the engineer outfit. We would clean up. Then I went on up in France, Le Havre, France. From there on up in Germany, Bremen, Schwabach, Germany, Grand Schwabach, Heidelberg, Bremen, Germany. And after the mission over there, they transferred us back into, after peacetime, they transferred us back into the United States. Fort Lee, Camp Cop, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And from there, I was discharged. Then I went back in during the Korean War. They sent me to Camp Shelby, Chicago, Illinois. From there to Camp McCaw, Wisconsin. And they said, well, we see this boy did a little work in the Army as a cook, World War II. So we're going to bring him in the mess hall. I had one of the best mess halls on that post, a cook. And we would prepare food. I had about 20 cooks under me. They was all college students from Pennsylvania, Minnesota, New York, National Guard. This is all black outfit. All of them was kinfolks. They was Master Sergeant, Lieutenant, and I was a cook at the NCO club for the officer that I would go at night on my off days from the base. I would go there and prepare food for the NCO, captain, colonels, and they all wanted me to prepare the steaks. Usually, they know what I know what they wanted when they walked in. So I was the chief there, and I had about 8 or 10 people working under me. They did the decoration of the plates, and I told them how they want the steak, over rare, medium rare, or over light, or well done. I had a salad girl, they did the decoration. The place was beautiful. So when the captain, all of them come in, they said, Sergeant Wooten here? Yes. I tell him I want the regular. Naturally, my girls were doing the fancy work at the plates. They was all together. So when they put the steak on there, they come in, they went to eat, they cut it just right. 1951, they closed the post up there in Camp McCaw, Wisconsin, and I had 2 options, to go to Camp Carson, Colorado, or either go to Fort Leonard Wood. I said, I want to go back to Germany. He said, you ain't going back to Germany, you going to Fort Leonard Wood. So I said, well, I'll just, at that case, send me back home then. The reason I wanted to go back to Germany because the car we drove on the opposite side of the street. The German people was good, up in Schwabach, Germany, in Heidelberg, Bremen. There wasn't no black Germany or white Germany. We was all Dutchmen. When I asked them what time of day is, I said, we feel Urdu heaven. I want to go to their house. Why don't you gang to my house? What time you got? We feel Ur. What's your name? You Furling. What's your name? You Frau. Young girls named Furling. The older women, Frau. Fräulein. I learned how to speak some of that English, but it went in one ear and out the other one, because I couldn't hardly speak my own American English. But I made it.
When you were serving in the military, how were the relations from where you were to the United States? Did that like?
Beautiful. I wanted to go back to Germany. That's why I wanted to go back to Germany, because it was really nice and I enjoyed it. But they said, no, we're not sending you back to Germany. We're sending you to Fort Leonard Wood so you can be trained again. And when I was out in Colorado Springs, I wanted to go to Germany. Yeah. And they said, no. I said, well, then send me back to St. Louis. But I had experience when I come back, going to Colorado, coming out from 6 days in there, comeback group from Wisconsin, Camp McCaw, Wisconsin. back home and left there going to Colorado Springs. And I was stopping on the highway to get something to eat. They wouldn't serve me. So I had to go around to the back. And I had my uniform hanging up in my car and all like that. And then I meet a policeman, explained it to him. I didn't eat there. I got back in my car. I told him about it. He said, come on, follow me. We went back to the restaurant, walked in. He said, this man served in the United States. He's in service. He's serving his country. He's entitled to come in here and eat. So y'all feed him. I said, yes, sir. They fed me. He followed me out of town then about 20 miles. I was on my way to Kansas City, from Kansas City to Colorado Springs, 956 miles. In Philadelphia was a place they had Klansmen. And when a black person got nice mules, good farm, they would pick at you. And the worst experience back there at 39, we was all over in the field and looked up, the house was on fire because we was working and didn't want to help someone else. Dad and them they wanted me to come over there and work for them, and we go over there and pick cotton and work for them. You don't go, then they get mad and want to burn your house down. And we was in the field, and they come up into the woods, set the house on fire. Okay, the government built it back. We was over in the field where we plant peanuts, picking off peanuts, racking them up in the field. We digging them up with the mules or pulling them up, and then we rack them up bed out in the field. They dry, and then we didn't have anything to do. We go out and pick off peanuts, and take them to town and sell them for maybe 50 cents a bushel. That's the way that was, and experienced that. Second black bus driver in East St. Louis, Illinois, was able to drive a bus. And the experience I treated then, my superintendent, he was from Alabama. He was white, but he was good. He believed in give everybody a chance. He said, you're going to be called names, coon, whatever, but see and don't see, and hear and don't hear. Be courteous. Good morning, and good afternoon. The whole time that I was working, I never had too much of a trouble. I had them to call me coon, but I turned my head and said, good morning, how are you? And all of the time they get in on me, I had particular lines that I went in, they never seen nobody like me. But I said, good morning, have a good day. Never had 1 minute's trouble, but a few name calls. Because my superintendent said, you got to be courteous. You had 40 people riding. I gained their friendship. They went to bringing me cookies in the afternoon. I throw them out the window when I get to the end of the line. But I never had no trouble. I tell my friends, I said, y'all do the same thing. I said, now, your boss man said, be courteous. You wear a clean shoe shine, clean shirt, and good morning and goodbye. And I did that, and my record stand for myself. And my record with the company, retired, never had 1 minute. Through my Army career, I was treated as a soldier. I was treated as a soldier. They sent me to school in Fort Benning, Georgia. I couldn't even write a letter to my mom and daddy. That guy come in there and said, how many of you guys know how to write, send a letter to your mother and father? It was about 25 or 30. So we was a farmer. Went to school maybe 2 or 3 days out of a month. The school teacher didn't have but a 6th grade education. But we made it. But they made us, and we was good. They sent us to school, and when you couldn't write that letter, some kind of word you got to write to your mom and daddy. This guy sitting over there, the big guy, he weighed about 150 pounds. He was a rough joker too. He had a strop. When he got through with that strop, whooping this back there, you gonna know how to write, Mom and Dad, and say, I'm doing fine. They called it STU school in Fort Benning, Georgia. And from that day, they sent us straight to the Harbor, France. Right after bomb Pearl Harbor, the cleanup boys over there kept on going on up in Germany. From France, the Harbor, France, on up in Germany, Schwabach, Germany, Mannheim, Grafenborg, Heidelberg. That's the city that I went through with. Cars on the opposite side of the street you driving on. They are nice people, and you didn't have any problem with them. I experienced some of that in life. And what I like about it, I'm here to talk about it. Yeah. Got all my fingers, got all my toes. And I love the Army, love the military.
What advice would you give for the young people today?
Well, the young people I would give today is when they come in the world, that I always heard people say, my mother said, Father, when I come here, they always will spank you back then. Say, your name is Bill. Don't forget that. And I experienced Bill means that you keep your record clean. The young people today, we walk in, stay in school, get your education, your record's gonna be with you as long as you live. The first thing you go looking for a job, anything, what's your date of birth? It's right back there. When you come in the world, Mama spank that back there and say, your name is Sylvester, so don't forget that, boy. I ain't forgot it yet. And it's just like when I went in service, overseas, they told me, so you know what your MOS number gonna be? Yep. They said, don't forget that, boy. You get your head blowed off when you go in there in a foxhole now.
What was your number?
ER 143921. I ain't forgot it yet. Can't even think about my own driving license. No, but I can think about that ER 143921. That was my number. If they get you, you better say that name. They know you America. The identification card. That was my ID on the tag we wrote. I ain't forgot that number yet. Person said, what's your MOS number? ER 143921. How can you remember that? Look how long they been. In 44. I said, I don't know. I guess listening to all them bullets over there make you think about a lot of things. But it was beautiful. I enjoyed the military. I advise anybody, get your education, join the military to be a mechanic, airplane. It used to be, you couldn't do it. But World War II, we had blacks who were very, very good airplane pilots. So I would give any young person to keep your record clean, because it's going to be with you long as you live. And teach your children the same way. I learned that in service. Common sense will make history out of education. All the education in the world you can have, if you don't have sense enough to say, good morning, how are you, watch your step, you lost. And I'm 90 years old, and I never experienced anything different. If you give respect, you're going to get it. If a person don't speak to you, turn your head and keep on going. It wasn't your friend in the first place. So that's the experience I would tell anybody. We got children. Keep your, whatever's on your record, it's going to be there. So I advise anybody that I had a person in my life all the way through World War II, the Korean War that I went in, all my life up. I never forgot my mother and father. Said one person you could depend on, and that's God. He can take you places you've never been before and never fail. He may not come when you want him, but he's right on time. So I experience anybody to do that. It's going to be hard, because children today is going to tell you, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. He's old-fashioned, blah, blah, blah. But keep on living. You're going to get old one day. But I had a hard way to go, but I didn't fail. I never went hungry, and always made it. Well, I could talk about it today. I can't complain. But it was all by the help of the Lord.